This is that once in a lifetime.
Welcome, welcome, welcome. We are back charting. You know what it is. Crazy things going on today, all across the markets. We're talking Spaq, we're talking Tesla, we're talking Snapchat, we're talking Bitcoin, we're talking literally everything. A lot of news catalysts changing the prices, a lot of earnings coming out, maybe some inflation going on. Going to be talking about it all. We're going to start off with Bitcoin. I posted on my Twitter all the way down here at 10.8, $10,800. That was looking good. It broke out of this triangle, which is basically a bullish sign. If it's kind of neutral until it breaks out to either side, so it could have went up or down. But on this green candle right here, Square purchased $50 million worth of Bitcoin. That was a great news catalyst, and it started running. It broke two different major resistances, closed daily candles above it, and here we are. We just touched 13k. We shed off a little bit. I believe the FBI was actually having a call about election interference and stuff like that. That kind of sold off some of crypto, sold off a little bit of the stock market futures, so a bunch of different things. But we really have broken every major resistance. If we just go back in time just a little bit, it's right here. This is what we were really trying to break, 12,100, and we broke that, and we just kept on going. So now we've run up a little bit more. We tested the resistance that I've been charting for a long time. I even posted it on my Twitter. You can see in the bottom left corner if you want to follow me there. I post daily. We tested that resistance, and that's exactly where it shed off a little bit. So now what do I expect to happen next? Well, there's a few scenarios. First, we could just keep on going absolutely crazy. I think there's multiple reasons why Bitcoin is going up. I mean, this did happen really fast, but if you take a look at different time frames like the weekly and monthly, we already had major breakouts in the last few weeks and the last few months. So we were just waiting for something like this to occur. But on the news side, we had Square buying 50 million. We had PayPal announcing today that they're going to be integrating crypto into their platform, which is absolutely insane. That helped to drive up the price. Also, we have just general fear of inflation, as we're literally currently in a recession and the dollar's value has gone down. We can take a look at that really fast. Here's the dollar. It's at 92. You really want it to be at 100 for it to be even. So it's down about 8% from what would be considered an even level. And the dollar is not looking great. I mean, it broke out, but then it fell back down into here. So that was just for reference, but people are predicting inflation with all the things going on. Like the government's literally printing money to deal with certain things that's going on in the country. So people are using Bitcoin because it has a limited supply, so it cannot be inflated. The price is going up. News sources have been covering it as well. So that pretty much covers Bitcoin. In terms of what could happen next, if we take a look at the Bitcoin dominance chart, which basically shows how dominant Bitcoin is compared to other cryptos, I charted this huge, complex inverse head and shoulders, and it broke out of it and it ran up like crazy, as you can see over here. But then today I was looking back at the chart, drawing some trend lines. I anchored these 2 points on top and then these 2 points on the bottom. You kind of had this channel, and I noticed that you were facing this supply line on the top of the Bitcoin dominance chart. I posted it on Twitter, like literally on this candle, and it reversed right where I said it would. Like literally this thing reversed exactly where I said it would. You also tested the 200-day moving average and failed to break it. And your RSI, or your relative strength index, was at 87, which was way too high. So it pulled back. I mean, that's what I expected. And we do have some altcoins being up a couple percent on the new day that started at 8 p.m. in universal time. So this could definitely go back to retest the breakout. Just look out for that. And then in terms of actual Bitcoin, I think it might go down to retest maybe 12.3 or just 12,000. There's just not a lot of support here, and you still need to confirm that you really broke out of this by back testing it and creating a support line. So I'm just looking out for that. I think it's going to take a little bit more pressure than we had to break these resistances in order to break 13,200. So just keep an eye out for that. That pretty much covers Bitcoin, I think. Let's move on to what I talked about yesterday. I went through a whole 25-minute analysis, so if you want to check that out, it's on my channel. It's the last video. Yeah, literally, let me just delete that. I'll talk about that in a second. This was the candle yesterday, and I was saying on stream, Spaq can reverse, Spaq can reverse. Bids can come in literally right here. Now, why did I say that? The 200-day moving average was right under you. You had a chance at potentially making classic bullish divergence on the MACD, which is maturing more and more and more. Then you had a horizontal support dating back to the beginning of August, which is where you bounced off of to run up all the way to $18, being around like $11.70. So there was like literally 3 different things. Also, your RSI was oversold. You're no longer oversold. I literally promised you guys on stream yesterday that the RSI would not stay oversold, and it didn't. You're back in the lower neutral territory, and it bounced. It had a 3.54% day. Pretty strong stuff. You had an inverted hammer candle, which is a bullish reversal sign. Then you also had just a big fat green candle. I wouldn't call it a bullish engulfing candle because you didn't engulf anything. But you had 2 good candles. Your MACD is about to cross. You just probably need 2 more 4-hour candles to be green for that to cross. Things are looking good, man. I mean, look at this supply line. It's just constantly being tested, and it's being regarded. You bounced off of it 3 times now. So of course we can keep on walking down this supply line, but you have so many catalysts, like the merger vote literally next week. Henrik Fisker was on Mad Money today, and Jim Cramer, the host, really liked what he had to say. Then you have all of these catalysts. You can take a screenshot if you want. So there's just so many things to work with here. Low risk areas, in my opinion, the $11 to $12 range is a good range. You're risking about 10% to gain who knows how much. And if we do break out of this structure, you have the 50% retrace, which is the target for this structure. That would be right under 15 bucks. So I mean, great stuff coming out of Spaq today. Nice little green day finally after so many bad days. If you're in chat, you want me to look at anything, just type it and I'll take a quick look for you. But yeah, man, I don't know if this is the bottom, but you have classic bullish divergence, the supply line and the support, a bullish hammer or inverted hammer. Like literally 4 different things are signaling that the price is going to go up in the very near future. So there's a lot to work with here. now let's move on to, if I can find it, let me just type it over here. Tesla had earnings today, so let's take a look at that. Still very well in the ascending triangle. I think you did run up. Let me check what the price went to after hours. Hold up. I just want to know what price we're at before I even analyze, because I don't think it's showing what it actually went to after hours. So after hours, you went to 430. Oh, okay, it is correct. So you didn't go up too much. They had good earnings overall. Like, I think they beat some sort of expectations, which is why it did go up a bit. But there were like a few little things within the earnings report that just didn't sound too well. So it just moved a little bit after hours, but it's still in this really nice looking ascending triangle. One could argue that if you anchored it like this, hold up. If you anchored it like that, one could literally argue that it already broke out to the downside. So it's not great. I don't know if this is the best place to be entering an asset when it's already run up this much. But if you anchor like this, you're kind of creating a new support line as you have 3 touches. You have 1, 2, 3. So I don't know. I kind of like this look better if you use the candle wicks rather than the way I just showed. But we will see how it plays out. Currently, I'm not in it. I've never been in Tesla. I missed the value areas for Tesla. So until if it does get back to those areas, I'll get back in. But for now, just too high of a premium in my opinion. All right, what's next? Okay, let's look at a little crypto. We have OXT, which is a low market cap crypto, and it looks really good in my opinion, like really good. So let's talk about it. First off, you have this descending channel, and you're working on breaking out of it. You kind of did, but it's just not really confirming a breakout. I'm not the biggest fan of how this maybe breakout is turning out, but if you can really break above it, it'll have much more of a case. So maybe get to like 25 cents to kind of like just get past this green, this red wick and close like an hourly candle over it. I think that would be a lot better. But in terms of the oscillators, you have classic bullish divergence on the 4 hour. And on the daily, let me just clean this up a little bit. Take this off the daily. Let me bring the MACD up a little bit. Raise the RSI. Okay. On the daily, you have triple MACD bullish divergence. So you have basically lower lows on price with continual higher lows on the oscillator. As you can see, you have this one big red histogram island, then you have a smaller one, and an even smaller one you can barely see, just those 2 little red dots. And during that whole entire time, you've been making lower lows. So you have classic bullish divergence on the 4 hour and on the daily. This thing is also kind of backtesting the previous resistance as support. Let me just chart that real quick. Alright, there you go. So look where this asset bounced. Right around 22 cents. Look how many times in the beginning of this year you failed to break it. 3 different times. So that is a really good sign that you're using the previous resistance we had for like 5 months, and now you're using that as support alongside the bullish divergence on the 4 hour and on the daily. Just a lot of different things to work with here. You also got this channel right here. If it can break out of this, and if the 4 hour divergence is confirmed, but if we can see this daily divergence really start moving, it's only one little green wick right now. If it can really start moving, this thing can really go up in price. My targets for this, if it were to break out of this descending triangle, would be about 29 cents and then 31 cents eventually. I don't know how quick or how slow, but at some point. Now, you know, as I did show you guys the Bitcoin dominance chart, let me go back to it. Bitcoin is currently, I mean, it's always been the king of crypto, but it's really been showing that lately. The more this chart goes up, it pretty much means that Bitcoin is going up, but the altcoins are either staying the same or not going up. So, I mean, this thing had a major breakout. So who knows when altcoins will catch up to Bitcoin in terms of percent change. Out of all the rallies this year, this was like the hardest it's been for alts to perform when Bitcoin's what had its best rally within 2 weeks, and I don't even know how long. So that's something to look out for. Thornbush won the duo himself, asking to analyze AYTU and TRVN. I got you. I have seen AYTU before. I don't know if I have it charted. That ticker sounds very familiar. So let's take a look. Oh, okay. There's definitely a lot to work with. First thing, unfortunately, this asset went from $100 to $1. So from a fundamental standpoint, you do not really want to see that. It's a consumer service. It's a bioscience. So hold up, let me just change the song real quick. Whenever you see an asset drop down that badly, there has to be something horribly wrong going on from a business standpoint. But we can look at the chart. During the COVID crash, I guess, you had a massive run up for whatever reason. Actually, no, I know the reason, because there was COVID and this is a biotech. So you had, let me try and look at this. You had a 54% candle on the 4 hour. In 4 hours, you had a 54% candle, so that was pretty much huge. And one thing I can definitely see right off the rip is you have a major support, which unfortunately you're under, or kind of under. And the support is also psychological support, being $1. It might freak people out to see the asset they own being literally under $1, but at the same time you bounced off of it on April 16th and use it as resistance for like all of last year. So this is definitely an area where it can reverse to the upside or the downside. What you really want this asset to do is close the day at 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time over, I'd say, like 105. You want to have like a 5% day where it clearly closes over that level. In terms of a more local structure, I'm not a big fan of this. This is a pretty clear double top, which pretty much means that you went up in price, went down a little bit, then you went back up to the same price, and you failed to break that price again. So looking left, this does not really look like a common reversal area. Actually kind of does if you consider those 2 wicks. So let me just chart that. You reversed here before, major dump. You had a gap down over here before, major dump. And then you actually used it as support between April and June. You bought in at 127, so you're down over 25%, I'd assume. Yeah, man, it's looking tough. I would say what you do have going for you is the fact that you have come to this level twice before. The first time you came to this level, you bounced back up to $2.13. The second time you came to this level, you bounced up to about $1.40. So, will it bounce up at this level again? Who knows? Let's try and look at the oscillators. And you do actually have a classic bullish divergence. So Thorn, that's a good sign. Pretty much means you made a lower low on price, but the moving averages of this asset made a higher low. And that's a very good sign. So if you pair the 4-hour classic bullish divergence with the $1 support, it definitely has a case to go back up. You have earnings coming on November 4th, so watch out for that. That can change anything. And in terms of what this asset is going to do next, you just really want it to close over $1. You do not want it to close under $1. If it closes under $1, it can get scary very fast. For example, the last time it closed under $1, you went from $1 all the way down to 33 cents. So closing under $1 could be a nightmare. A stop loss would definitely help you there. If you want to know how to set that stop loss, I can help you out. But yeah, you really want it to reverse like literally tomorrow. You want this thing to be up tomorrow. So that's AYTU. I'm just gonna look at the daily real quick to see if there's anything there. Oh, you made a high low. Yeah, I'm not really gonna, that's the same level of moving average, so I'm not gonna consider that much. But yeah, you just kind of at this reversal area to the upside or the downside, you just need to confirm which way you're going. So I'd say just set a stop loss and then just monitor it and see how it closes the daily candle. So that's AYTU. Let's go take a look at TRVN. Trivana. Alright. No bullish divergence. And you also kind of have a rounding top. I was talking about this on stream yesterday. I'm not a huge fan of when the prices of assets make a top like this, where you go up and then you have a clear and steady down mark in price. I'm a fan of when it does the opposite of that, where you have like a rounding bottom, but I'm not a fan of this. In terms of support, let's see. Probably gonna have to go on the daily to find some support, not the weekly. Okay, you're currently at this price. Alright, I do see a decent support, but that is a little bit away from where the price is currently at. So this area right here, it was once held as support, about 227, but another time it was also held as resistance. So this is a reversal area. It could come back down to this area. In terms of a retrace, let me pull out my Fibonacci. Swing high to swing low. You are almost at a 50% retrace, which means you went about halfway down after your recent rally. So you went up, and then on your way down, you're about halfway down to where you once were. So when this gets to about a 61.8% retrace, which is also right around 227, that could be a really good reversal area. It's called a golden retrace. It's actually like a universal code. It's in like beehives and like the galaxies and like the human body's anatomy. It's pretty cool, and you can also use it in trading. It's called the golden ratio, Fibonacci.
I'll get straight to the point. I found marijuana in the house.
Oh, well,
I never thought of myself as
let's change that song. But yeah, that could definitely be a reversal area about 220 to 230. You could definitely see this reversing, especially if your oscillators show some seller exhaustion. Until then, not too much of any edge. Oh, actually, I can actually explain why the price is going down pretty easily. Let me try and do that. Alright, so you had what's known as a double top, as I explained on the previous chart, which pretty much means you went up to a price, you went back down, then you went up to the same price again, and you failed to break it. That's not good ever, and actually it didn't even go back up to that price. It couldn't even make it back up to that price. It fell down before it even got there, which is even more bearish, and bearish means like the price of the asset is more probable that it will go down. And then at the same time of you making that double top, you had what's known as hidden bearish divergence, which means as you have a lower high on price, you made a higher low on the oscillator. Alright, get that in your mind. The price made a lower high, so this was the first high, this was the second high, and while it printed that lower high, your oscillator made a higher high, which pretty much means at a lower price there was bigger momentum, which is not good. If you want to learn more about how divergence works, the last video of my course actually goes over that. So you can take a look at that. It's just literally called Oscillators. It's on my channel. It's video number 8. It'll explain all of that to you, but it's not a good sign. So what I pretty much see here is this could probably run back down to about 220 to 230 and have a decent chance of reversing to the upside there. That's the best look I have on this chart at the moment. In terms of a secondary support, I also see one. This is a major support. This is where I would personally take a long on this asset if it got down to this price. As you can see, from October all the way to August of 2018, it did not break that level of 147. Of course, it went under it just a little bit a couple times, but I'm saying on a macro level, it did not really get under that level. And then recently, in August of this year, it also did not get under that level. It bounced off of that level. And also, again, on this little low right here, in June, it bounced off of that level. So that's a major support, which means when the price gets there, a lot of people want to buy it. So as you can see, over time, there's been a lot of buying at this level. So first support is 227. If that does not hold, 147. Just getting some water. But again, if anybody wants me to look at any asset, type in chat and I got you. Until then, I'm just going to scan through different things, look for a personal edge on the market. Let's see what oh yeah, the S&P 500 index. Basically, stock market index. Some people might get mad at me for saying that, but that's how I look at it, okay? Yeah, man, I don't like it. Again, hidden bearish divergence on the daily. Lower high on price, higher high on the oscillator. So not the best for the actual stock market itself. We had the FBI talking about potential election rigging by Russia and Iran, however you want to say it. So that's not great. So I'm not too bullish on the S&P right now, if I'm being quite honest. I think it might come down to 3307 in time. Spaq. Hey, what's up, Nicholas? Welcome back. I went over Spaq right at the beginning, but I'll go over it again. I know you were here yesterday, so I hope that you're happy that what I talked about yesterday has already actually started to play out. This is what I started off the stream with. Let me go back. So this was a red candle that I was streaming with yesterday. It was at this candle when I was talking about it potentially going up very soon. And today you got even more bullish. You had an inverted hammer, which is a bullish reversal sign, which implies price action will reverse to the upside and stop the downtrend. And while you did that, you successfully tested the support line of this falling wedge. You touched the support line and didn't go any lower. You also literally exactly tested. You touched the exact line I was talking about yesterday at 1165. So if you put in a buy order for 1165, you'd be up right now a few percent, like 3%. So yeah, it literally went to the exact, I didn't even talk about that on Twitter, man. I should have bragged about that. So yeah, the exact level I said it would bounce off of, it did. Like literally called the local bottom. I don't know if it's going to go lower in the following days, but I called the bottom for today by the cent, which is pretty impressive, okay? Let me hype myself up a bit. In terms of the future, you're still in this falling wedge, which is bullish. If with all the catalysts I talked about yesterday, which you can take a screenshot of right now, if with all those factors you're able to break out of this falling wedge, the way to target it is a 50% retrace. Now that would be about 1493. So if it gets to that level, this trade would have played out. Of course it can go higher. Who knows what the news will be like then. But that's how you would target like a sell order for this. And of course nothing is ever 100% certain. But that's just what the textbooks say for technical analysis. And then again, I literally promised that the RSI would not stay oversold, and it went back up into the lower neutral territory. And then your MACD classic bullish divergence is still developing. It's looking even better than it did yesterday. So currently the whole entire hypothesis of what I went over for the first 30 minutes yesterday is currently playing out. And it's still intact as long as you don't break under this yellow support line. As long as you stay above this yellow support line, this is a beautiful looking chart. You break the yellow support line and a lot of things can change. Don't you suspect slight manipulation, especially after hours today? I think there's a lot of factors that go into a question like that. You can talk about the institutions. You can talk about just the types of traders that are in this asset. There's a lot of millennials, Robinhood traders that are in this asset, which I'm not a huge fan of. Other SPACs like VLDR, HYLN have also dumped because they were a SPAC, democratic way of launching a company. And just to look at VLDR, I'll look at it after actually, but yeah, man, there's certain restrictions, man. I wish they would have just done like a conventional IPO. That would have helped it out so much. After hours, Fisker went on Mad Money and the price actually dropped. Now, one trend I've been noticing lately, somehow, some way, every time we're getting good news on this asset, the price drops a bit. Now, pretty much everybody in the world would argue that that's not a good thing. But here's what I'm thinking. You look at VLDR and you look at HYLN. Until they had their merger, they dumped. I mean, they ran up in price. Sorry, I just said that the opposite way. Until they had their merger, they ran up in price. After their merger, there was pipe investors who had a short lockup period, that's the term, basically means the institutions that were buying could sell it very shortly after the merger, which pretty much means they took their profits on that massive rally up and it dumped the price. Now the opposite thing is happening here with Spaq. There is a longer lockup period, which means the institutions investing in Spaq have to hold it for a longer time, which definitely I'd say could be a prevention for a post-merger dump. Another issue would definitely be the macro economy. This is obviously not the best time to be starting a company with a lot of people not looking to spend a lot of money, with the stock market at a very risky level. So there is certain things that can mess up this trade, which is why I keep emphasizing it's not 100% certain. But if it was just a regular October and I was looking at this chart, man, I can't even tell you, dude. It literally has every single bullish indicator you want, from MACD to RSI to candles to horizontal support to structure. Like literally, you have 5 different things that are all pointing to the upside next. And you know, as long as the technical analysis is respected, that's what I'm expecting. If the technical analysis is not respected, then of course it can fail, and that does happen. I'd say maybe 25% of the time. And again, you don't need to win every single one of your trades to be profitable. But if you can manage your risk the right way, position size correctly, you should be fine no matter what happens. And then you just go for those good reward to risk trades. That's something I learned from Mitch Ray, who pretty much taught me like everything about trading. So if you want to check out Mitch Ray on YouTube, go check out his channel. You can learn all of this. And at the same time, if you want to learn all of this in a course format rather than going to a stream every day, I made a full playlist, an 8-part course on how to trade from beginner to advanced for free. That's also on my YouTube channel. I'm just trying to give away free education resources so that everybody can learn this. It's literally making money off money. Keep us posted on Twitter when you see a clear sell signal. I will, man, I will. I'll be updating every single day. Thank you for all the support. So that's my look on SPAC. The 2 scenarios is you bounce off here to touch this supply line and potentially break out, or you keep running down this demand line. So you have to be careful on where you enter if you are entering. And let me put down the music a little bit. So yeah, there's a bunch of different things here. So, oh yeah, I said I was going to talk about VLDR after that. So VLDR was another SPAC, and it dumped horribly. I don't remember exactly when the merger date was, but I think it was like somewhere around like here. And it got destroyed. It got destroyed even before the merger. Basically, when it first became a SPAC, it had a very nice run up, and then leading up to the merger it dumped, and then after the merger it dumped. Just to show you how much it actually dumped. And this is what definitely does worry me a bit about SPAC. The market has a terrible look at SPACs now because of what VLDR and HYLN did. So that obviously sucks. You went down 60%. 60%. And what I noticed today was, yeah, I will look at form in a second. You reversed here twice before. You reversed here on July 1st, and you reversed here on August 3rd. So if there's any area where this horrible price action could stop, it could, keyword could, be at this level. The only issue is there's really nothing besides from that signaling a reversal. You kind of have an 88.6% retrace, but there's just no structure. There's no help from the RSI or the MACD. So it worries me, but I'm just saying it could. If you see it bounce off this level and then we get some signals on the oscillators and we see a nice structure, then I'd be a lot more confident. But I'm just trying to put the idea out there that this has been a reversal area twice before. So now let's take a look at farm. Welcome to the stream, bro. Oh wait, I just typed in your name, man. I need some sleep. Here we go. Let's get some farm analysis going. Now you were talking about crypto, so I'm pretty sure that's not what you want. That's stock. So let me just put in farm USD. And is this what you're looking for? Just to confirm. Farm reward token to US dollar pair on Uniswap platform, I guess. Alright, here we go. Not the stock, thank you. Alright, let me see. There's no seller exhaustion on the oscillators. We actually had a pretty good level on the RSI. And unfortunately, your MACD did cross over, if you could see over here on the 4-hour, which is not great. As you can see, that means you have a little red histogram wick. But there was no bearish divergence, so you're just having negative momentum without any bearishness. Or, I mean, it is a little bit bearish, but it's not horrible. You also filled this big gap to 231. In terms of a structure, could it cup and handle? Definitely, but obviously there's no handle yet. So I'd say just maybe wait, unless, I mean, if you're already in this, obviously it's a whole different story. But there's not a lot of signals to buy right here. This asset went from $81 to over 300, so it's not value areas either. I'm just being completely straightforward. And then in terms of a structure, you also really don't have structures like a parabola. So there's just not a lot on the chart to work with. Like, I'm being completely straightforward. Just to show you what the parabola would look like. Let me try and line that up. So parabolas are not the most common way to trade. They're more just used to help you find additional factors on a chart. I don't buy things just because I see a parabola. So what you really want is a local structure to form over here and some good signs on your RSI and MACD. That's what you should be looking for. Let me just delete that. Try and line this up a bit better. Yeah, it looks pretty good to me. Alright, there you go. So this is kind of the curve of the parabola, but obviously it cannot go straight up, so let me fix that a little bit. I'm just trying to make this as precise as possible. Alright, so that's what I'm looking at. So in the short term, the only edge I could potentially see is you retest this parabola line. But again, you just want to see more stuff on your oscillators if you do come back to retest this. Cool, that helps a lot. I'm not in on it right now, so I appreciate it. I wrote it from 220 to 320 and got out. Congrats on that. That is some major profit. But it's a blockchain hedge fund that just hit 1 billion. So a lot of people talking about it. I have heard about it. The streamer I watched went over it today as well. It's definitely been a trending topic in crypto. It's just a very new chart. There's not a lot of data to work with. And if it does provide, bullish indicators at some point, of course, it could be a decent trade. But just right now, it's just extremely neutral. It can go up, it can go down. There's just really no way to know from a technical analysis standpoint. But yeah, man, congrats on your profit. I'll try and take a look at this again in the future. If I see anything, I'll make sure to hit you up. But for now, I'd say just wait. Just wait for sure. Speaking of crypto, let's go back to Bitcoin and see what it's doing. Selling off a little bit. It touched. Yeah, no problem, man. Whenever you want, man. I'm just here to chart. I love it, and I want to help people learn this awesome way to make money. It's like a fun way of making money. So back to Bitcoin. It literally hit my target. Like, literally, I talked about this at 10.8, and it literally went all the way up to my 13,200 target. And just to show you why that was my target, if it can load, is because twice you reversed here, or once you reversed here. I was looking at that, sorry. Trying to find the date, man. On July 10th, 2019, during the 2019 bull run in the summer, you came up to this level and reversed. So that's kind of how horizontal resistance works. So I just charted that. I also charted the other horizontal resistance at 13,890. So these could be two potential reverse areas because we already broke most of the resistance. We broke 10,560, 10,800, 11,100, 11,500, 12,000. We already broke 5 different resistances, so there's really only a couple in this area. I mean, if you break these resistances, those are your next two. I'm just going to mark those for the future. Make that red. I'm not saying the price is going to go there. I'm just saying if it gets there, look out. Don't really like this song. Let me change it. Some vibes right there. Okay. So yeah, Bitcoin doing things. Came right up to this high from July 2019. Reversed there for now. I just think it's gonna pull back. You know, maybe $500-600. Consolidate for a bit. Maybe the altcoins can catch up then. Volume's a little bit too loud for me. All right. Fix that up. Okay. So yeah, maybe it can reverse. It can definitely reverse at this point, but there's nothing really indicating that it will. So currently it's just a patient game on Bitcoin. You just gotta wait to see what it develops into, because currently you can see this on the 4 hour better. There's not much to chart here. It's just a straight line up. You had a little pennant over here, broke out of it. You had a little bull flag over here, broke out of it. Broke all the resistances, and you're just at a straight line up. A lot of different reasons why this occurred. I talked about that literally right in the beginning of the stream, so if you want to go back to that, check it out. But yeah, man, I've been watching this for a long time, since 10,500, and it's really nice to see the price be up 30% since then. Okay. I'm just gonna close off the stream with one more stock that I wanted to talk about today. VIR, Vir Biotechnology. This one's interesting. So initially I was looking at the 4 hour and it looked really bullish. You have unconfirmed hidden bullish divergence on your RSI and MACD. Unconfirmed because you want to see the start moving back towards green. You just had your first waning momentum on the last 4 hour candle. So I'm just watching this to see if it will play out. Super early to call it, so I'm just saying unconfirmed. But what the real significant part of this 4 hour chart is that you're currently back testing your previous resistance. So you can get a support resistance flip at this price, which is obviously good. So basically I'm just going to look at how this opens tomorrow. If it opens good, I might day trade it. Otherwise, if it falls back under 33.50, not good. It's also at a 61.8% golden retrace Fibonacci golden ratio, which is a very common reversal point for any asset. So in terms of horizontal support and a golden retrace, the chart looks good. The oscillators could look good in the near future, but the big red flag that I noticed once I went to the daily chart is this like megaphone structure. You had an upsloping demand line that you failed to break out of, or an upsloping supply line that you failed to break out of, and you also had an upsloping demand line. And unfortunately, in the last 2 days, you broke out of that upsloping demand line. So while the 4 hour is showing some good stuff, the daily time frame broke out to the downside. So that's why I was saying I might just only day trade this if I do even trade it, because although on the 4 hour, which is a lower time frame, it's looking good, in the macro time frame, the daily time frame, it's just not looking good. Your MACD also just went to red. So what I think could happen, maybe, again I have to see how it opens tomorrow, is you backtest the previous resistance at 33.50, then you have like a nice little 10% run to maybe even backtest the breakout to the downside, and then you dump, like for real. That's just how I've seen similar charts play out. I don't know if this will happen. I'm just going to be watching to see if it does happen. But that pretty much covers most of it. a little bit of a shorter one today, but I feel like I got a lot done. A few like 8 or 9 charts, pretty solid. And if you want to see me update you in real time, I post to my Twitter. It is in the bottom left of the stream. You can also find it in the description. So follow me there. I post daily. I've had like probably over 40 posts on my Twitter that have run like over 20 to 30% in the past 5 months. So big winners over there. Check it out. And thank you for coming out. I will see you guys later.